Good morning. Welcome to the first official garden tour at Jana's Beautiful Mess in the first week of May 2021. And let's get started.
Hey guys, let's flash forward 2 weeks to when I'm editing this video and realize that my camera work definitely leaves a lot to be desired. What I was trying to do was I was trying to give you a perspective of the garden from my eyes. So I wanted you to feel like you were actually doing it. And it worked to some extent, but I moved the camera way too quickly. You could get dizzy watching. So I just wanted to let everybody know that I'm aware of the issue and I'm going to do my best to fix it. That being said, I've already filmed week 2 garden tour before I edited week 1, so it may be similar, but the garden changes so quickly I can't just go back and refilm it. So week 2 may have some of the same issues, but week 3 will be much better, I promise. Hey, this is Jana's Beautiful Mess. I'm Jana, and welcome to my beautiful mess. Also, when I had Elliot watch the video for me, he brought it to my attention that for anyone who's never been here before, they might not have a very good overall idea of the layout of this particular garden. So I wanted to give you a better idea of that before we went into the initial garden tour. So we're gonna walk out the kitchen door. We have 5 beds in the kitchen garden area here. This bed and this bed are 4 foot by 8 foot that my father-in-law and my mother built for me shortly after Raylan was born. These 3 beds, 1, 2, 3, are 4 foot by 20 foot beds. And with some assistance from Elliot, I built these 3 beds myself using 3 different methods. I can make a video about that in the future if that's something you guys would be interested in. Okay, so I hope that gives you a little context for the garden before we jump into the garden tour part, because that's what you're gonna see next. So skip back 2 weeks ago again to that.
All right, this is mint. You know those mint packages that you can buy, have the roots and things? I just bought one of those and I planted it in here, and I wanted it to have its own pot because mint spreads quickly. And as you can see, in just 1 year, it went from one of those little tiny bunches to a huge planter. Rosemary. I did the same thing with the rosemary, but I didn't do that till this year, so it's taking it a while. And this is oregano. And I did the same exact thing with that, but I did that probably 5 years ago, maybe 4. And it comes back every year like this. It dies back and then it comes back every year like this, and I just top it off with some compost on top, and that's it. Right here, these are Lincoln peas. They're supposed to be bushing peas, but they kind of seem like they're vining. But they don't have any peas on them yet, so I don't really know what's gonna happen. I sowed them, when did I sow them? March 11th. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if they make it or if it gets hot too fast. All right, now we've got kale. This is lacinato kale. I started it from seed on March 1st, and I transplanted it into the garden on April 6th. And we've been harvesting off of it for probably about a week, maybe 2 weeks. And it's all lacinato all the way until maybe here. And then this is the Black Magic Kale, and same dates. I direct sowed some tomatillo here, but as you can see, my lone tomatillo is going to really fight for its life. It's going to have to want to exist. Alright, put some chives here. Also sown on 311. The blank places in the corners, those are where all the flowers are going to go. So tomatillo here, but nothing ever came up, so I'll probably stick a pepper or something in there. Here is some parsley, sown on April 8th. And these are Paris Island lettuce that I sowed on April 8th. And they're coming along nicely. Ground cherries, April 8th. I guess I'm gonna have to thin them. It's just hard to pick a favorite. And here's more. And then I sowed summer savory here, but I don't think it's coming. And then this is dill, bouquet dill, whatever that is. And this is thyme, and I've already decided I'm gonna have to move it to a different bed. Like, I think I wanna put it in a pot like this on its own, because I don't want it to form a carpet around the whole thing. This bed is mostly greens. This is where we want to make a salad or a green juice. This is butter crunch lettuce, sowed on April 8th. I sowed this because I had already started some from seed, and then when I transplanted it into the garden, it didn't seem like it was going to make it, so I went ahead and did some direct sowing, and then the other stuff made it, so now we've got double, which is fine. And then this is all summer bib lettuce, and it's just gorgeous. I could not be more pleased with the beauty of this bed. I started it inside March 1st, and then I transplanted it into the garden April 5th. These down this side to here, and down that side to there are all romaine lettuce. And then here we've got more Black Magic Kale, and this is Ragged Jack Kale. I really like this one because it's got these spots on it that look like tears or needles, but I guess that's part of what makes it ragged. It's not the tastiest kale, but it's really pretty. It's good for juicing. Ooh, kohlrabi doesn't look very good, does it? Uh-oh. What happened to you, hunty? I don't know what happened to it. I mean, other than the storm, but it looks leggy now, so I don't know. You make any tips? So on this bed, since it's on the outer border of the garden, I decided to plant things like alliums all along here as kind of a pest deterrent. And again, the corners here, 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 there, and same on all of the beds will be flowers. Direct sowed some leeks. It probably was too late, but I thought I'd give it a try. So those are leeks. I did 1, 2 per square foot. This is a square foot garden. So those are leeks all the way down, and then there'll be a flower. And then there'll be a flower there. I'm thinking about planting a row of flowers through there as well. Leeks, leeks. And then here we've got candy apple red onions. And I bought them as sets. And then to there, to right here, that's where that square foot ends. And then this one starts. And this is garlic. And what I did with this is I just bought packages of organic garlic from Walmart, and I just let it sit in the cabinet in the dark until it sprouted for a couple months. And then I came out here and I stuck the cloves in the garden, and this is the progress so far. I think it's a cool experiment. We'll see how it turns out. But I stuck them in here April 5th. Oh, and I have one, I saw another one. Oh, there's 2 volunteer tomatoes coming up. I hate to kill volunteers, but I've got a lot of tomato plants. Oh, and then this is tomatoes all the way down the middle of the bed. We've got 1 per square foot. That might be pushing it, but we're really gonna be super diligent about the pruning and trimming and clipping and all of that. So we're hoping we won't get any disease. We'll see. There's 40 tomato plants per bed. 20 on this side, 20 on the other side. And eventually, we're out of hooks right now. We're waiting for more to get here. Eventually, they will all be trellised the whole way. So hopefully they'll just be walls of tomato plants this summer. That's what we're hoping for. These are all beefsteaks. From here all the way down. So there are 10 beefsteak tomatoes, 10 orange persimmon tomatoes, 10 St. Pierre. Again, I started the seeds on March 1st. I up-potted them on April 3rd, and then I forgot to write the date because it started raining. But I remember the date. It was April 25th is when I put them in the garden. And then I direct sowed some lettuce here. I tried a different method that I'd never tried before, and so I did it in rows. So I did a row here, and a row here, and a row here, and a row here, and then I sprinkled in the lettuce seed and then covered it up, and nothing. So I'll probably stick some extra pepper plants in here or an eggplant. We'll see. These are bunching onions that I started in cells on March 1st, and I transplanted them into the garden on April 5th. And there was just a rogue romaine, so I just stuck it in somewhere. It'll like the shade of the tomatoes. More bunching onions, and then right here is where the square foot stops. And then from here all the way down to where the flower will be on the end are more candy apple red onions. Pink Berkeley tie-dye. I started them from seed on March 1st. I up-potted them on March 29th, and I stuck them in the garden on April 25th. These actually are some flowers that came up and didn't die. Calendula. And I think I sowed them March 11th. Here's some Swiss chard. First, I had stuck some parsnips in here and not a single one germinated. I don't know. But the rest of the stuff seems to be doing okay, so maybe it's just the soil. I mean, maybe it's not the soil, maybe it's just me. This is spinach, direct sown on March 11th. And we've been harvesting on it for a while. The tomatoes on this row, same setup as the other one, but this side is clementine tomatoes. I'm pretty excited about these. I've never grown clementines before, but they were the first to germinate. They were the tallest in the seed room. They've already got blooms on them. Like, they're super eager participants in the garden this year. Those are clementines all the way to the middle, and then got purple Russians all the way to the end. Oh, nice. There's the wind. Do some trash. These are carrots, obviously. Okay, carrot. Scarlet Nantis, March 11th. Still, I don't know. I sowed them pretty thick, and then I didn't thin them out. I'm not entirely sure they're gonna do anything. We'll see. We'll see. Swiss chard. Bright Lights to Shard. I direct sewed it, I think. Did I put a date? Oh, March 13th. And then these are Detroit beets. The tomatoes on this side are purple Russians. This is the butterhead that I was talking about that I didn't think it was gonna make it, but now it's like gangbusters. Anyway, same with carrots on the other side. Flowers that actually survived the frost. Just a rogue spare lettuce that I didn't have a spot for earlier. The tomatoes here are mortgage lifters. We had a whole bunch of radishes here, but we've been harvesting them. So there's only a handful left. I need to resow some more. There's a rogue flower, so I just let it stay. I have these turnips. Yeah, these are the turnips. And they're huge as far as the greens go. But like, I'm not super impressed. I haven't really gotten any big ones out yet, so if anybody knows, like, is there something, do I have a deficiency of some sort? Oh, look, there's a worm. Is that what it is? Or is that a good one? Am I just too impatient? I need to wait longer. So those on March 11th. So today is May 7th. It's been almost 8 weeks. Flowers. These tomatoes are vintage wine to the middle. These are just empty spots with some clover growing in them where my eggplants are gonna go, but I'm not gonna put them out until May 15th. These are just mustard greens. I don't know when March 10th is when I direct some of these into the ground. Flower, naked spot where I'll probably stick a pepper or something. Beets that I transplanted, but they got too leggy. Yeah, I haven't been able to figure out beets yet, so. Spinach, because we juice a pound of greens a day, so we like to be able to rotate through all the greens without taxing on them too much. Oh, and the tomatoes, the other ones were vintage wine. These are brandy wine, so 10 brandy wine. And this side, all the way down, is cherry tomatoes, because I wanted to be able to just walk out the kitchen door and come down and pick cherry tomatoes off the trellis. And I've only got 2 kinds of cherry tomatoes this year, which is kind of a bummer, but I've got plenty of tomato plants, so it'll be fine. We've got Matt's Wild Cherry and Atomic Grape, and I've got them alternating everyone. So that one's Matt's Wild Cherry, Atomic Grape, Matt's Wild Cherry, Atomic Grape. And then spinach, of course. Oh, black-seeded Simpson lettuce. More black-seeded Simpson lettuce. More Swiss chard. Some extra romaine that I just kind of stuck along that line. I direct sowed some jalapenos because none of my seeds germinated. But then the weather keeps getting cold and hot and cold, so I don't think they're gonna make it. And then cilantro, let's see. Oh, and elephant deal, I direct seeded it April 8th. The cilantro, I started inside 3-1. Transplanted it April 6th. And then more calendula. And that is the kitchen garden. Let's go to the greenhouse. Here's the greenhouse. As you can see, it's completely full of at least as many tomato plants as are in the garden. I'm hoping to take these cardboard boxes and make a place back there for them. All right, we'll go to the back now. Okay, here on the back steps are some goji berry bushes that I'm just trying to figure out where I want, really. These are all of our determinate tomatoes. So we've only got 7 this year, so they grow in these, and then we'll just clip them to the fence as they grow. We're gonna let them bush out. We don't trim them back. And put the rest of those tomatoes that are in the greenhouse. And if we go to this garden bed over here, a lot of it looks empty, but this is where all of my peppers, where most of my peppers are going. And like I said, they won't come out till May 15th or later. I did a direct sowing of okra, and as you can see, because of the weather, or maybe the seeds are old, only some of it germinated. So I'll need to re-sow that. That one came up, but you know, it's struggling. I'll need to re-sow. Had 2 come up there, but also struggling. Same story there, need to re-sow. And then these are all blank. And these are mostly brassicas, and as you can see, the wind gave them quite the lashing. And I didn't label these when I was putting them in because I was racing a rainstorm. And so, other than of course the kale, which I can recognize, the rest of it's gonna kind of be a surprise. It's either cabbage, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, or cauliflower. Kale, curly kale, more of the Russian red or ragged jack. What is this? This cabbage? See, some of them are pretty sad. That was kind of pretty. I didn't really, this was kind of a gamble. I didn't really think that the brassicas were going to do well here in Alabama in the spring. I've read that they do better in the fall, but I just wanted to try it because I had never tried before. So I learned a lot of lessons. And if any of them make it at this point to harvest, it'll be great. If not, maybe I'll let them go to seed and they can reseed themselves. I think that just about wraps up the garden tour, except for this peach I have here. I need to weed and mulch around the bottom of it. But this peach that I have here is a volunteer, and I love volunteers. It looks pretty good. It's filling out nicely. I think that's the last one for now. I've got big plans for back there. We'll see if I find time to get them done. And all back here. So hopefully next time we do a garden tour, there'll be a little bit more to show. All right, thanks. We'll see you next week.